Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Wow, everybody, we got a great show for you right now because this is the way we're kicking off the year. I want you all to meet Rena Bingham. And sometimes my brain doesn't work exactly right. That's what you just heard. Today, it's about the revelation of the life of Rena. This is a journey, a discovery, and a beautiful becoming. It is a conversation that she and I are going to have right before she launches her show. So, for those of you today, what does it mean to understand becoming? But if you can put the word becoming and beautiful and discovery, then all in one sentence, are you willing to take a guided tour on what that looks like? Today, you'll hear from somebody that's topped the charts in psychology, a master's, a bachelor's. You know, she's a certified life and health coach, a mom. Oh my gosh, there's so much we could talk about, but I'm going to let Rena talk about it. The passion though that comes through in the show and sharing the story that got her here is about being this conscious empowerment coach that helps other people that are ready to make that change. And this year, the change is gigantic. It's enormous. For those of you that are thinking, what do I mean by gigantic and enormous? What you're going to find out here is that part of that journey is the energy that's being brought in. So what do we need to do? Well, here's where we're going to start. We're going to start with with becoming the beautiful discovery, Corina. Rena, thank you so much for today. This really is about your journey, the story, and it's about you, Coach Queenie B.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you
You
for having
know,
me.
this is a great place to start because, as time goes on and we continue to do shows together, what'll happen is we'll talk about things in more detail. But what I'm finding, and I think all of us here are finding, is that people have a story and a journey, and being silenced is not on their radar for this year. So
Mm.
let's talk about you. What does it mean for yourself to be fully seen? But also, more importantly, did we lose you right there?
Yeah.
Uh, did you feel seen as a child? How was that like for you?
Growing up was quite interesting. I personally did not feel seen. Of course, there were plenty of moments where I also made it to where I wasn't seen, due to seeing the consequences of actions from others, not wanting to get in trouble myself. So I did what I thought was best for me, and I pulled back and I hid. Um, so that way nobody could see me, so nobody could experience me. And not only that, but I didn't really trust people when I was little. Um, I felt that every time somebody came to me, there was a hidden agenda, which is kind of wild because as a child, that shouldn't be the case. But there were plenty of moments where I didn't feel the love. And then when I was told that I was loved, it felt like there was some type of something, an agenda attached to it. So
Yeah.
those were just some of the reasons as to why I just pulled back and was like, no, I don't want anybody to see me because I don't want to deal with anything or, have to talk to people and things
Yeah.
like that.
We're coming full circle. I was reading I love to read articles and studies and things that people are doing, but I don't know that we'll fully find the impact of COVID until a year or two down the road. And what I mean by that is, and this is especially for women, not that I don't hang out with men, but the people that call me, they're mostly women.
Right.
Um, or my gay male friends. But part of the conversation that I'm hearing, and is the reason why our theme for this year for our network is to become unmissable, unstuckable, unforgettable, and unapologetically visible.
Yes.
Now, look at you and me, right? That's not even good grammar, but look at
Yes.
us. We come from places where I lived in a closet as a young
Mhm.
child. I just couldn't take it. But here you are today. When did you realize this just isn't right? I I'm a big energy here. I
Yeah.
need to be seen. When did that happen?
Oh, wow. So actually, it's been a few years. Um, and so I've been working up the courage to be seen more. I do have, you know, the famous Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I do have those. I do get on there. Uh, it's a lot, but I do it. And but about last year, no, 2024, I had initially talked to you and the team, and I just didn't have the means at that time, and it'd been on my mind the whole 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 year, round back up to 2025, and I got back in touch, and I was like, it's time. I
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be out there for people to see me, to take care of themselves, to learn how to heal, and know that I'm not here to save you. You're here to save yourself, and I'm just gonna guide you.
But that it really is the essence of a great coach. And I wasn't kidding when I called you Coach Queenie B, because that is really your name, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like I'm Pat B because I've shared this on a call the other day. My last name is actually a bacteria. And
Oh, yeah.
so if you spell it wrong, and everybody does, but part of this is owning who you are.
Yes.
And I want to ask you this question. As you make yourself feel seen and you talk about that feeling seen within you, it doesn't come without having to overcome
Mm,
some things that stuck on us growing up, right? I don't know
yeah.
about you, but the reason I created Unstuckable, because I had a lot of stuck things. I got some things stuck on me right now. But
Oh
what
no.
did you, I know, right? But what did you have to pull off? What did you have to shed? See, we still have 2 weeks now in the year of the snake. So we didn't run
Oh,
out of time yet.
we didn't run out of time yet.
All
We
right.
didn't. There are plenty of things that I have shed, but I think what's most important is as I shed them, I also integrated them and I accepted them for what they are as a part of who I am for me
Mhm.
to feel whole and complete. There was shame growing up in, forgive me, in not receiving the same punishment as my brothers.
Mm.
Um, they one more than the other, but they both got a lot of beatings. And
Wow.
then by uh, and then my mom ended up taking those beatings, and so I grew up seeing the effects of not only domestic abuse, but just the abuse of those around you, and which is one of the reasons why I did what I could to hide, because I didn't want to receive those, and I felt so bad, and I felt shame, and I felt guilt because I didn't receive it, which is kind of crazy. you know
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
also knew I couldn't protect my brothers, and I couldn't protect my mom, and I did the best that I could. But one of the things that I've had to learn to deal with is to let go and to integrate that and to know that I was a kid and there was nothing that I could do,
No, no.
you know?
Isn't that the hardest? Isn't that one of the hardest parts? You know, part of my journey, I still don't know how I got here, is I've gone full circle in the spirituality realm. You
Oh,
know, when I do a keynote, when I talk about this, I call myself a spiritual hitchhiker, and everybody, you could hear a pin drop in the room. And, but my journey has been to find a sense of peace that was outside of myself, because like you, when you're in situations like that, the guilt and the shame.
mm,
Guilt plus shame equals doubt. Doubt equals stuckness. Did you
yes.
have any of that stuff going on right there?
Oh, I did. I mean, as a child, I should have been able to have the ability to be a child. And instead, I became the adult in a situation that I should have never been an adult in. And being able to navigate that, the best way for me to do it was to go into myself, to not express myself, to not talk to anybody, and to just hold it all in, because I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. You know, I didn't know. I mean, my parents were divorced. My mom was with my stepdad. I didn't know it was okay to call my dad. I didn't know it was okay to call my grandparents. I didn't
Mm,
know. So I was in a position where, how do you deal with something like this? And as a kid, I grew up so fast that I became very nurturing and caring. I did the best that I could, to my knowledge, my truth, and being there to support and help my brothers when they did go through these things,
yeah,
to love them and to hold them and to know, hey, you didn't do anything, you know. And even for my mom, I would be there for my mom when she would get beat, and I don't know how I exactly did it, I just know I had to, because I had to survive and I had to protect those around me. And the only way I knew how to do it was to push everything aside, act like it didn't exist, and be that parent at a child's age
yeah,
that I needed.
yeah, yeah. You know, part of this is why we get to show up as adults now and help other people. I have a question for you, and I think this is very applicable.
Mm,
You know, I was told once a very long time ago, especially when I was in my smart alecky phase growing up, and I remember being told by one of my actual sports coaches,
mm-hmm,
you know, Pat, you cannot take anybody to a place you haven't gone yourself. And after a while, he started to talk to me about life. You know, he
mm-hmm,
was from Africa, from Ghana. You know, he started to talk about his life and his mom
mm-hmm,
and what she was, but he also talked about his pain.
mm-hmm.
And what that phrase has come to mean to me is I now know how to help people have a voice in the world because I didn't. I stuttered. I was different. How has all of this helped you cultivate your coaching platform and what you're doing in the world to help others now? I know, right? Good question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Because you're like me. I mean, you're like me. I mean, think
Yes.
about everything you've gone through. You have children, which you love. I mean, the
Mhm.
whole realm of things, right? It
Yeah.
all goes in to the moment that we decide we have a purpose and a passion, and you do.
My
Everything goes into that.
right. So I used to want to save the world. That's what I used to want to do. after everything that I have been through and feeling like nobody was there because I didn't open up, because I didn't talk to anybody to find out that there were people that felt pain the way that I had. Um, if I would have had that, I would have been able to save myself sooner
Mm.
instead of waiting until I was, God knows how old I am. And
Yeah. No,
um,
nobody knows how old I am. So we're going to keep it
right,
like that for a moment, though.
and we're looking great doing it.
Right? I mean, come on now.
Right?
Right? Are you thinking?
Yeah. So I'm doing this for my kids,
Hmm.
and I'm doing this for the present moment and for the future because we as human beings need to know how to be able to accept ourselves for who we are. The hardest thing we will ever do in this world is learn who we are.
Hmm.
And that's because of all of the programming and shit that we've been through. And we have to figure out who we are. And I'm here to help people do that because I'm tired of seeing those that think they're in power push fear onto everybody, push
Yeah.
control onto everybody, and the people think they're here to save them, and only you can save yourself by having yourself whole and complete. And that's not people on the
Mm.
outside, that's you accepting yourself in all ways. And that's what I had to do. And that's what I want to help and am going to help people do. So that way you will no longer be controlled. You don't have to conform. You don't have to sit up there and be like, yeah, the government's going to save me. No, I can save myself when I know who I am, when I know what I like, when I know what I'm capable of, when I can accept my fears and my worry and my lack, and I can integrate it all and become balanced. This world is going to be so much better. And that's what I'm here to do. And that's what I had to learn.
Mhm.
And that's what I want.
And that's why, coach, that's why, all of this is brought in to what you do to help others. You see,
Yes.
that's what that one coach said to me. That's what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got to know him so very, very well. And I went through a lot with him
Mm-hmm.
because when I was getting coached in 1973 and 74, and you're driving in the middle of Philadelphia with a black man from Ghana, Africa,
Mm-hmm.
driving the car,
Right.
you get to see a whole lot of stuff go on there that you just
Right.
can't believe. And, and I understood silence from him. You
Mm-hmm.
see, it's hard to know how our life experiences affect us, but I was talking to Linda about this, and I would like for you to comment on this because I want to know what it feels like to be fully seen.
Okay.
Sam Hammond is one of the top, he was a national player in Africa. And, we go to a lot of tournaments together. We were inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me how to play a game that only men were playing that style. But I remember we got stopped one
Mm-hmm.
night in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia and got pulled out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I was appalled. And I may be part Brazilian, but I look white. And I just started to give the police some lip.
Mm.
And Sam looked at me like, don't.
Don't. Mm-hmm.
Just one look. Now, long story short, we still got hauled off from jail.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news, Sam was seen. So he called the embassy and got us out of jail.
Mm.
But I was very reluctant from that point on. I was very cautious
Mm-hmm.
in that point on, and I felt very scared. So let's talk about how we go from fear, being scared, to being you. to be fully seen now because people are looking at you now,
They are.
especially now.
They are.
Yeah, they really are.
Oh. Um, so the question is, what does it feel like to go from not being seen to being
To fully
seen?
seen, yeah.
It feels scary.
I'm
It
telling
it
you, that's what
feels
I mean.
scary. And honestly, the only way to work through your fear and being scared is to actually work through it, and don't push it aside and be like, I'm not scared. That doesn't affect me. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and accept it, and take it, and then just push through it. Be like, okay, breathe. I'm gonna tell you, this morning, getting ready for this podcast, listening to like calming music, got my incense going. I've been breathing, and it's a lot. It's a lot, to remember. But there are ways that you can get through those moments of those fears, those moments of those being scared. Um, I talked to my best friend. I talked to a couple other people. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, you know. But I worked through it, and I showed up,
Yeah.
you know. And this is a one step at a time process. All you got to do is show up once. You fight through it once. You can do it again, and you'll. By the end of the year, I may be an expert. But that's how I do it. I work in my head. Is this going to be bad? Is it going to be good? I don't know. Let's go with the flow. Let's just pray for the best. And you know, once you get through it, you can cry or scream or yell, laugh, have fun, whatever. But yeah, basically just working through my stuff,
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking this question is because we're going to be doing a number of shows together for sure.
Hmm.
And, part of that is sitting down and talking about things that are going to help people rise up.
Mm,
And I think this is the year to do that. Uh,
yes.
Earlier I alluded to the fact that, yes, there are studies coming out, and we're finding out right now what it's like, why people have been so pulled back,
Mhm,
invisible, a little bit shy, especially at work. We're seeing things at work happening right now. Uh, what is the latest number? I don't have the exact number. Like over 500,000 women were fired from their jobs last year, and a majority of them were women of color. 500,000. And somebody said, compared to what? And I said, well, the last number is compared to 75,000 men. And so, can you only imagine what that kind of consequence does to silence people,
mhm,
right?
right.
And it's the same kind of authority that parents have over a child
Mhm,
that does that. But for you, you're coming out now. Um, and I want people to know how they can work with you, how they can find you. What is the best place for people to go?
well, I have my website, coachqueenieb.com. So you can definitely go there. You can read up on me. You can schedule consultations and things like that. There's also links to my TikTok, my Facebook, my Instagram.
Mhm.
Sorry, I don't have the handles right now.
That's okay. They're probably coming across the screen right as we speak,
Oh,
um,
dang
but I mean, part of this is part of your journey of becoming.
it. Mhm,
And, given that and having said that, first of all, I want to thank you for sharing your story because, this is important in our journey. Stories are very important.
mhm,
I listen to a couple of spiritual people every morning, and I'm shocked by how good they are at storytelling.
mm.
That's masterful, and so are you. What's your personal message, Coach Queenie B? What would you like to leave us with?
You are all legends. You are unstoppable. You are limitless. Anything is possible. all those cliches that anybody has ever said to you is absolutely positively true, especially when you recognize it and you realize it and you take your power back from all of those people that are sitting up there trying to take your power, trying to make you small, trying to make you think you have no
Yeah.
place in this world. You are amazing, and it is my pleasure and honor to be able to help you, support you, guide you, love you unconditionally, no judgment, in any which way, shape, or form that you need me to show up for you.
I'll tell you, you inspire me every time I speak with you. And for those of you out there, Coach Queenie B and I have talked a lot. The journey is just beginning, everyone. And I want you to know that this is a story that will continue to unfold. But I want you to keep one thing in mind. When you hear today's show and you hear just a little bit about what Coach's journey has been like, I want you to remember, if you align with any of that, then when you select a coach to work with, make sure you look up Coach Queenie B. Thank you so much for that. Thank you all. We have lots to come.
Yes.
And I'm not kidding. You all have got a couple days to shed stuff now. We got like till the 17th February. Okay. So we got to get on it.
Yes.
We got to get on it.
Yes. And then we're running through life like the horse that's coming in.
Hold on for a minute. Giddy up, giddy up.
There you go.
Giddy up, giddy up.
I love it.
I apologize. I know, right?
You're the horse. Here we
I
go.
know. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We'll see you next time.